What is Scratchapixel? Scratchapixel is a website we've created a few years ago to teach computer graphics programming from the ground up and help people learn about it on their own. Now you may think that there's tons of books out there about CG, and that's true, but there's no resource like Scratchapixel, and here is why. Books or websites from which you can learn computer graphics fall into two main categories. It's either material produced to teach artists how to use 2D or 3D programs, or books written by engineers for engineers. It's either lacking in the technical aspects, how to use tools to create images or digital assets, or too technical and only accessible to people who already have a good background in maths and programming. So the problem is, how do you learn if you don't feel technical enough? There's a very large number of people out there very passionate about CG and who are highly motivated to learn CG programming. However, they struggle to do so because maybe they don't have the required mathematical skills. These people just need help to gain these skills, but they need it presented in a way which is adapted to a non-technical audience. That's what we do here on Scratchapixel and why we are here. This is how we do it. First, because it's a website rather than a book, we make this information available to everyone, whereas most books only write equations down. On Scratchapixel, we provide all the background necessary to understand these equations. We can go into as much detail as we think is necessary to explain CG concepts from the ground up, and especially all the maths behind them. Everybody knows when you try and learn maths, if you don't grasp the first concept, the second one is harder to understand, and the third one even harder. So what we do on Scratchapixel when we study a technique is to start it from the beginning. If a technique relies on other concepts which themselves rely on other concepts and so on, we start from the simplest possible concept and build up on the technique from there. Our lessons are longer than what you will find in books, because books often assume that the reader has some prior knowledge in maths, or for this reason they will skip all these steps. This is okay if you have the required mathematical skills, but if you don't, then you will benefit from our approach. This is what makes us different than others. Each lesson you will find on Scratchapixel comes with its own self-contained program written in C++. We believe that many people understand theory much better when they see a practical example. Plus, and this is something not found elsewhere, as each code example is isolated in one file, you can study the technique more easily. We also write the content of Scratchapixel in such a way that people can learn intuitively. We put little emphasis on theory, use simple words, give examples, and illustrate ideas with images as much as possible. You will see that the content of Scratchapixel is organised in lessons. You don't need to be registered to access the lessons. But if you are registered, you will be able to do such things as rating lessons, adding comments, receiving updates, and so on. We will be continually adding new features in the future that will only be accessible to registered users, so we recommend you sign up. At the moment, most of the lessons online are devoted to the topic of 3D rendering, but soon we will provide lessons to help you study fluid and cloth simulation, real-time animation, modelling techniques, image processing, and many other things. So why are we doing all this, and who is it aimed at? Well, our primary goal is not to teach maths and programming through computer graphics, although we think this is a very good idea. If you tell someone that they can learn how to create a video game, they will quickly realise that maths can not only be useful to them, but can be used to create things they really enjoy. So learning maths and programming through the application of CG, or something else you may enjoy, is, for us, the way these subjects should be taught. The primary goal of Scratchapixel, though, as we said in the introduction of this video, is really about making it possible for everyone and anyone to learn CG programming. We designed it for people who are motivated to learn CG programming, but may feel that they don't have the skills or the confidence to try. We at Scratchapixel are veterans of the animation, VFX and video game industries, but like everybody else, we had to learn and start somewhere. Scratchapixel is based on our experience of having to learn CG programming ourselves, but also having to teach CG techniques to artists in different places where we worked. So the website is essentially the sort of resource we would have loved to have had access to when we started our career. We will hope it will help others in the way that we would have liked to have been helped back then. We learned a lot ourselves from the first online resources dedicated to CG programming, created by people like Ken Musgrave, Ken Perlin, or Paul Bork, and others. Now we are in the position they were back then. We want to keep passing on our knowledge to people we have inspired, maybe through the films and games we helped to produce, and who now want to study CG for this reason. This is a project we develop in our spare time. We put a lot of hard work into it to keep it alive. If you like it, if you find it useful, and if you can support it, then please think about making a donation. Thank you very much.